I remember when they found out we called them the Chaos Hounds. They were not amused. Nearly caused a diplomatic incident. They didn't understand at first that we meant it as a compliment. They thought we were calling them the ones who bring chaos. But what we meant was that all the races of the GLQ, only humans were able to sense chaos before it happened. They could, like our own canine companions sniffing out prey, sniff out an impending disaster. I remember the first time I saw it happen. No spacer gets more than a trip or two under their belt before they start acquiring stories. And by stories, I mean scars. I may have been the cause of some chaos in my youth. I was in a dive bar at Regal 9, a place called Flensner's. It was a rough place, to be sure, but I knew how to handle myself. I was there with a new crewmate, a human named Gus. He was as short as a grig, but he was a solid little fella. I seen him hoist more mass in one arm than two role crewmates could carry together. We were at Flensner's having a bit of a farewell for another crewmate. He'd finished his bid and was changing ships to head towards his home cluster. We were about 3 or 4 rounds in when I saw Gus get real quiet. He was just sitting back, sipping that poison humans drink. Water or vodka or something. Anyway, he's just sitting there, sipping his drink and staying quiet. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes like that. Then all of a sudden, he stands up and grabs us around the middle and carries us out of the bar. We were just out the door complaining about our unfinished drinks and squirming to get loose when he threw us on the boardwalk. He didn't slam down on top of us. I thought for certain he'd lost his mind. You hear stories every once in a while how a human just goes crazy. But then I heard gunshots from the bar. He was trying to shield us from the gunfight that had just broken out. Once the rate of fire dropped a little, we managed to scramble around the side of the building and Gus pulled out his comm pad and called the station security. He told them he'd seen a group of Bremph warriors approach an old Greven. He saw them have words and the Bremph had moved away and ordered drinks, but they kept an eye on the old Greven. Gus told security he was just leaving when he heard the gunshots. I sat rooted to the floor and listened to him explain it to the security officer on the phone. But I had no idea why he had decided to drag us out of the bar. We sat there until the security detail showed up and Gus identified the people who had been in the gunfight. The Bremph had lost a man and the Greven was missing a few claws. When the security was questioning Gus, they asked him why he decided to leave. He said he could tell trouble was brewing, and he didn't want to get caught in the crossfire. Now, everyone knows there's no love lost between the Bremph and the Greven, but how in the 89 branches of the brood tree did a human know that a group of rowdy Bremph warriors, freshly molted from combat training, were going to decide to test themselves against what turned out to be a retired Greven warmeister? After seeing our friend off on his voyage home, Gus and I returned to our berths, and I asked him that very question. He said, "You can see it if you know where to look, I guess. Or hear it, maybe. Maybe both. Someone talks too long, too loud. Someone keeps eyeballing somebody they should be ignoring. Hell, you can smell the tension in the air sometimes. I don't know. Do you ever get the sense something is off?" I had no idea what he was talking about, of course, but I never made a fuss after that. If Gus said it was time to go, we went. More times than not, we could read about some brawl or gunfight, or in one case, a full-blown riot that took place just minutes after we left. After a few cycles, Gus bid to another ship and we parted ways. I've had a few human crewmates over the years, and every one of them has done it. Oh, no one ever bodily carried me out of a bar again, but there was a few times when my human warned us of a situation. Brendan would say something like, "Gentlemen, we should take this discussion to the floor." We would grab our glasses and bottles and slide under the table. If nothing happened, we'd just laugh it off as a ship's tradition. But again, more often than not, we were undercover when things went sideways, as the humans say. Well, you know how spacers talk. No one can keep a good yarn to themselves. And on the pub crawls with no humans, we could talk about how they could sniff out a fight or before it happened. How they could sense when things were getting ready to go sideways. How they could hear the tension in someone's voice. Every time we'd ask them what was the tip-off, how'd they know, the answers were always different. "I could hear it in his voice." Or, "You could cut the tension with a knife." Or, "I could smell that guy coming." Or my favorite,
You blind or something? I could see that from a mile away.
After a few years, we spacers started to call them the Chaos Hounds, and well, spacers talk. Still though, I never turn away a human crewmate. They work an honest bit and take care of their crewmates for the most part, but I'll be plucked if they can't sense a storm brewing.
Hey everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video, and I want to give a huge thanks to LgFatherAnthrocite for allowing me to be able to publish his content. Y'all should go check out the link in the description. I had a link over to his post on Reddit. Yeah, and I hope to be able to post more content from here. So I hope y'all have a great day out there in internet land. See ya.